Summertime means summer jobs for thousands of teenagers. But even if they're working part-time, your kids still have rights on the job.
Tonight, our senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel has a warning for parents and also some information that every teen worker needs to know.
Come here.
16-year-old Jenna Newsom was excited to get her first summer job, but it turned out to be a lot less than she bargained for.
It wasn't fair at all.
Jenna worked at this popular burger restaurant in Bloomington. Her paycheck always seemed to come up short.
I had to ask for permission to clock in. Usually they would just say no. And they said, go wait up in the office. It's not that busy right now.
You didn't get paid for that time?
No.
Bubs carefully tracked her hours. On this day, Jenna was scheduled to work from 5 to 7. She arrived right on time, but was not allowed to clock in until 5:34. Jenna worked for a little while and then was told to take an unpaid break, which lasted 32 minutes. Then a manager told her to clock out early at 6:48. Jenna spent her full 2-hour shift at Bubs, but got paid for just 42 minutes.
I was shocked. I mean, I just couldn't believe that any employer would operate that way.
Jenna and her dad contacted the restaurant to figure out what was going on. A manager pointed right to the company policy that said,
there may be periods in the restaurant when activity is slow. During these times, we may ask staff to wait off the clock. It's just blatantly wrong, I mean, on all levels.
It is wrong, according to state and federal law. Jenna didn't know that, and the owner of Bubs says he didn't know either.
We're human. We make mistakes.
Until Jenna's dad filed a complaint with the U.S. Department of Labor.
It's a mistake on our end. We'll own it, right? We own it. And that communication has been had with all of our managers saying, look, this type of stuff cannot happen.
Why was that your company policy in the first place?
To watch labor, it's a business. Look, we want to keep them busy all the time, but the reality is if no one's coming in to eat, right, we don't need that extra support. So we need to cut the labor percentage.
That's a good way to save payroll, but, you know, it's illegal, and, you know, I think people should know about that.
Bubs and other businesses are increasingly relying on teenagers because there simply aren't enough older workers to fill minimum wage jobs. Indiana has important labor regulations meant to protect 14 to 17-year-olds.
We want to make sure they don't work too many hours. We want to make sure they get breaks like they should. They need a work permit, and the purpose of the work permit is basically a ticket to allow them to work.
The labor laws are so outdated, they need modernized.
The owner of Bubs has been lobbying state lawmakers to allow teens to work longer and later hours.
And there's a lot of kids that want and need to work.
That could mean more opportunities for young workers. But the state says teens should understand their rights and, like Jenna, how to fight for them.
The teens, they need to know the child labor law. They need to know and keep the employer honest.
Jenna now has a different job, but after filing a complaint with the Labor Department, Bubs did send her a check for the time she had not been paid. It's not clear how many other workers might have been underpaid, but the owner of Bubs says the policy is now changed and it's time to move on. So if you want to see all the rules for underage workers in Indiana and how to file a complaint for possible wage or rule violations, we've got all that information right now at WTHR.com.
Yeah, it's good information for families. Thank you very much. Thanks, Bob.